introduce our first presenter, Tom. Tom, I can see you on our screen. We'll highlight you in a second here. So Tom reached out to us. Tom's a really cool guy. He's a licensed psychologist. He's an author. He's been practicing meditation and meditative practices for 30 plus years. So he's got a lot of cool things to say, and I think we wanted him to share because he's got a little exercise that he wanted to go through with us together as a community. So Tom, you take it away.
All right, thank you, Drew. Wow, what a pleasure to be here supporting such an amazing community and an amazing organization that has inspired me. Like Drew said, I'm a psychologist. I'm also a husband, a dad, an uncle, a community member, a sometimes actor. All kinds of things. And of course, you'll notice, of course, I'm talking about identity as I list these various activities. And I'm also an author, and my book is called Full Heart Living: Conversations with the Happiest People I Know. And one of the top learnings from that research in that book and my interviews were that happier people are deeply connected to other people. And that's what Creative Mornings, of course, is all about. But how do we get there? So that right after that is connection with oneself. And I've been thinking a lot about that this week as we've been practicing what we're calling social distancing. By the way, I want to propose that we change that term. We're actually practicing physical distancing, right? It's important that we not lose that social connection. I hope that becomes the new vernacular. But even if it doesn't, let's remind ourselves that we must be connected to other people. That's intrinsic to being human. But back to what I was saying, how do we support connection with other people? A huge part of that is connection with the self. I can only connect to you as much as I'm connected with me. If I have compassion for me, I can have compassion for you at the same level. And it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing here. Like they both feed off each other. Being in communication with you, being in relationship with you helps me connect with myself and vice versa. So it's not one's better or more that we have to have one first. They both feed off each other. And I wanted to share an activity that I find very, very useful. One of my favorites and the most meaningful to me in reminding myself of my connection for myself. And again, in these days where we are physically more distant from people, I think it's extremely helpful. So I will invite folks, this is just any instruction I give is of course completely optional. So it's all just a suggestion, but if you're comfortable, closing your eyes either fully or partially, and really arriving deeply in wherever you're physically located, that might be standing or sitting, and allowing the earth below you to fully support your weight, and just dropping in as best you can to yourself in this moment. Noticing the breath. As best you can, letting go of any memories or predictions for what's coming. Just coming into the now. And then, if you like, placing your hand somewhere on your own body, wherever your hand is drawn in this moment. For many of us, that's the heart. That's the first thing many of us think of, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a shoulder or a knee or a leg or the stomach. And you might place two hands at that spot. And as you continue to breathe deeply and naturally, just notice what this is like. What is the sensation of your hand on your own body? You might feel temperature. You might experience a gentle pressure. And as best you can, just being with this experience. your own hand on your own body. This is both a symbol and a reminder of our ability to be compassionate with ourselves, to be present with ourselves. To tell our very selves that we are here for ourselves deeply, that we appreciate ourselves, that we love ourselves, that we have our own back. And that whenever we feel disconnected in whatever way, this is a resource that is always available for ourselves. This is a resource that instills resilience. So allowing the hands to return to where they were before, if you like, returning to the breath. A few cycles in and out. Allowing the chin to drop toward the chest. Fluttering the eyes open. Lifting the head up. And taking in this beautiful community that we have. So that's a brief introduction to mindful self-compassion. This is based on the work of Kristen Neff and Christopher Germer.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
I want to introduce our next presenter, our second presenter, our friend Steph. Steph, you out there? We're going to get you unmuted here.
I am now.
There you are. Steph is a Creative Mornings alumni. She was a speaker a few years ago. She runs a really cool nonprofit called Humans of Minneapolis. We'll try to link that up here in the chat. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about connecting with others. You know, so we talk about connecting with ourselves and now the importance of connecting with others. And she's been an inspiration to me in connecting with others. She's one of the most empathetic people I know. And so excited to hear from her. So Steph, take it away.
Thanks. So, you know, what I've been thinking about in terms of my own identity is just the fact that I'm a human interaction enthusiast, let's call it. I'm the kind of person that talks to strangers constantly, you know, even in my personal life. I love making eye contact. I love making small talk. I love saying hello to people and like smiling to people. I'm just one of those sort of extroverted people. And that personal habit eventually evolved into Humans of Minneapolis. And our work is all about connecting through storytelling, which under normal circumstances means meeting with people and interacting with people face to face. So, you know, like I say, it's something that I do, you know, I personally get a lot out of it. It energizes me. It kind of, it gives me like some juice, you know, when I'm making eye contact with people. And science sort of, you know, backs this up, that human contact is really important. It can be important to our mental health and as well as our physical health. And in fact, human contact is one of the things that helps us through stressful times. And then this happened. And like everyone else, I'm feeling a little bit lost and trying to figure out, you know, where do I fit in all of this? And I keep coming back to this sort of analogy of I feel like we were all playing a big game of red light, green light. Remember that game? And suddenly there's a red light, and we've all been forced to freeze. Whatever we had going on, whatever we were doing, whatever we were planning, there's a big old pause button on that right now. And what I'm realizing is that this is happening to all of us. Everyone had plans. Everyone had things that they were working towards. And it's just, everyone's got a different version of what this is right now. And then something sort of interesting happened for me. Several days ago, I started to feel really compelled to start video chatting with people, FaceTiming with people, not something I normally do. So I've been reaching out to friends in Alaska and a friend in Seattle, a friend in Montana, a couple of aunts who are a little more vulnerable right now and might need some help. And what I've realized is that this medium of video chatting is actually providing me with some of that juice that I'm normally looking for, because I can get sort of this virtual eye contact. I can see their facial expressions. I can hear their voices. And that's made a big difference for me, because I'm the kind of person that normally I'll just shoot off a quick text or a quick email. And I think I've been somewhat underestimating the importance of all those things. And what I'm realizing is that the more people I talk to about this, the better I feel. By listening to other people's experiences and hearing about how other people are being affected by this, I'm experiencing the same thing that I experience anytime I listen to people's stories, and that's empathy and connection. So it's allowing me to feel better, because I'm realizing more and more that I'm not the only one struggling. We're all having a hard time, and we're all in the same boat. And we will get through this together if we help one another. And for me, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and modify when necessary. And I'm just going to really look forward to the time when we can all be together and give each other hugs and high fives.
Thank you. We got one more here before we close out things, and we're really excited to have Mary share with us. So Mary reached out to us this week and had a really interesting kind of perspective and story on this whole thing as a college senior, coming to the end of kind of her college career and what that meant for her. So Mary, you out there?
Yeah, hi.
There you are, cool. Well, I'm gonna hand it over to you and take it away.
So, right, as Drew said, I'm a college senior. I go to school in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It's a little tiny liberal arts school called Muhlenberg, if anybody's ever heard of that. And as all of this is really, really heartbreaking and really stressful for everybody, me and my friends sort of had to deal with the complete lack of closure of getting our college experiences cut short for 2 months. I'm sure many of you know those last 2 months of your senior year are filled with trying to soak up all of the experiences that you can and trying to spend as much time with the people that you love as you can. So it was a really wild experience to have to sort of scramble together and sort of manufacture closure in this time of great upheaval. And I'm a theater major, if you couldn't tell. And I was so pleased with how my community was brought together. It was like So it was like 12 hours before we were supposed to pack up out of our dorms and leave. And we all gathered together and had sort of a final performance of sorts for every sort of group on campus, a cappella groups, original plays, sketch comedy, improv, which was such a lovely thing because I've been working with these people for the past 4 years. I've been developing my voice with them and I love them so dearly. And to have this last time together to sort of be like, oh, maybe this is the last time that I'm going to be on stage with these people, which is heartbreaking, but I'm really glad that we got to have that. And so I was just thinking after that experience of gathering together in a time of crisis is how we can adjust our routines to account for this new stage in our lives. How can we deal with the experience of having all of our attachments suddenly gone and have our expectations changed? And how can we make new expectations for ourselves? And even if we're not in the same room as people, how can we be creative and create something that we love with the people that we love, which is easier said than done in times like these, but it's such a good thing for us to look in at that closure and try to sort of, I think I've said like manufacture closure in a creative sense, if that makes sense, and try to create closure through creative processes and through the people that we love.
Thanks for sharing.